Yo, stay focused, man's on a mission. Wavy like the ocean, ain't got time for inhibition. Eyes on a prize, lock it in your vision. Straight up, man, that's gotta make a decision. Stay focused, man, I gotta go. Can't be going backwards, I can't be going slow. Gotta take the lead and I gotta steal the show.
What's going on, YouTube? How y'all doing? Glad to see you back again. Today's video, we're going over the C's of survival. Everybody has their C's of survival, you know, whether it's 5 C's, 10 C's, 12 C's. I counted a few extras on mine. I made a video on all of my I think there was 17 of them. So I did that, and you can go back and watch that. But I've been kind of breaking them down individually, kind of covering them a little bit more. The first video I just touched on them, went through what they are. Now I'm kind of going through a little bit more of in detail of what each one of them are. And today is another one of those kind of popular ones that a lot of you may know a lot about, you know, probably more than me, but it's also a important one, and it's also an overlooked one, and that's calories. Calories, when it comes to preppers, they usually like to fixate on the cool guy stuff, the cool guy gear, the guns. How much ammo do I need? I need all the ammo, I need all the knives, I need all the guns, I need all the gear, all the gadgets, and they forget about the important stuff like food and water. But calories is a big one. You need to have your food. And there's different types of SHTF. There's food storage at home, and there's bug out food.
Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt the show, but I just wanted to just come on real quick and thank y'all for watching. And if you haven't already, and you feel obliged, why don't you go down and do the YouTube stuff real quick. Take a couple seconds and smash that subscribe button, or just tap it, or just hit it, or caress it, or whatever you gotta do. Just hit that subscribe button. According to my analytics, only 10% of you are actually subscribed, and so, I mean, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Hit the, you know, and if you want to support the show financially a little bit, if you're inclined, no pressure, but there's that super thanks button if you feel like it. There's also memberships if you want to join. Don't quite have any members yet, but, you know, we'll get there. But anyway, just hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up and, you know, do the stuff. Appreciate y'all. I love you. I wouldn't be doing this without you. All right, now, back to the show.
You know, and there's ways to do it, you know. And if you're just getting started, you know, just shoot for just whatever. Just go to the store when you go to the grocery store every week or whatever. Just buy a few extras cans of whatever. Instead of buying one bag of rice, if you eat rice a lot, buy 2 bags. If you like, you know, if you eat cans of corn, if you think you eat 2 cans of corn a week, buy 4 cans and put 2 of them back. And, you know, just start doing that every time you go shopping, and eventually you're going to build your supply up. That's how I kind of started, and it got to where I got to the point where I had a pretty full pantry of canned goods, because cans, for the most part, they last indefinitely, you know, for the most part, as long as they're kept in well ventilated areas, don't get wet and rusted and, you know, and weathered, and they pretty much last indefinitely. So you can't go wrong with canned food, canned goods. But there's only so much canned goods. You know, there's only so much you can do with canned food, but it's something that'll get you by. I mean, you can get full meals out of canned foods, you know. Yeah, it may not be very good and very good for you, but it's something. You know, SpaghettiOs, you know, soup, you know, Campbell's soups, you know, get some of that stuff. Get, you know, canned veggies, canned corn, canned fruit. You know, they've got peaches and pears, and, you know, they've got, you know, with vegetables, they've got almost every vegetable: peas, carrots, corn, You know, everything you can get in cans. Some of you may not like cans as much, you know, but it lasts. And if you're in a live or die situation, you may not have fresh corn or frozen corn, or you may have to go with cans. So every time you go to the grocery store, just buy a few of them. But only buy what you eat. If you don't eat corn, if you don't like corn, or you're allergic to corn, then don't buy corn. I mean, buy what you eat. You know, buy something that you like and buy what you eat, and, you know, and just start building it. Just start slowly working on it. Nobody says you have to do it all right away. But then once you can, start doing buckets. You know, there's lots of ways to store food. You know, buckets, you know, you get a 5-gallon bucket, you put a Mylar bag in it, you fill it up with rice, seal it up. You know, I don't have any videos of that. There's videos all over the internet of how to put food in buckets. But just start small, and then eventually you'll, you know, instead of worrying so much about stacking your ammo to the ceiling, you know, start laying off on your ammo a tad and start working on your food a little bit, because, you know, you can live without having all the ammo. You can live without having all the guns. Do you need some guns? Yeah. But food, you can't live without food. You know, there's all kinds of ways to go about storing food. There's freeze dry, there's vacuum seal, there's pressure canning, there's buckets, there's lots of ways to do that. And I don't have any tutorials of that. Maybe eventually I can do some videos on how to go about that, but at the moment I don't have any videos on how to do those. But it's just some ideas. You know, I'm still, like I said, I'm still kind of new to this prepper realm. I've been, I've been kind of light duty for a little bit, but I've still got a ton to go and a ton to learn and a ton to, so I'm just kind of giving you some ideas of where I started and how I started. And if you can afford to go out and just buy a year's supply of food, heck yeah, go buy a year's supply of food. But in an actually SHTF situation where you're actually using the food, you know, there was a concept that was given to me by Bear from Bear Independent about, you know, the 5 meal or the 7 meals plan, that basically 1 meal per day for 7 days, and just get you a recipe for 7 days, 7 meals to last you a week. You know, like say on Monday, you do spaghetti and meat sauce. So one trip when you go to the store, you know, start stocking a year's worth of, you know, that's 52 weeks, 52, you know, figure out what you would eat, you know. And I'm not saying spaghetti and meat sauce. If you don't eat spaghetti, don't buy spaghetti, but just think of easy meals that you can make that don't require like a lot of frozen food, you know, pasta, meat sauce, boom, you're good. You need, you know, if you go through a pound of spaghetti per meal, if you have a smaller family and only eat a pound and 1 can of sauce, 52 pounds of noodles, 52 cans of sauce, you're good to go. There's 1 day's meal. Boom. And work on the next day. If the next day is rice with, you know, canned chicken, you can do that. You can do rice with canned chicken, pound of rice, 52 cans of chicken, canned chicken. There you go. There's a meal. Is it a very good meal? If you want to add to it and throw in some cream of chicken, give it a little bit of creaminess to it. 52 pounds of rice, 52 cans of cream of chicken, and 52 cans of, and you've got your second meal. You know, and you don't have to do this all at once. You can just buy it up. You know, if you eat spaghetti on a regular, when you go to the store, buy a couple extra boxes of noodles. They're cheap. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy all the year's worth of it all at once. Just buy a couple here, a couple extras here, a couple extras there. You know, the next week you go buy 3 or 4 cans of your canned chicken, or, you know, base it off what you eat and what you do, and make it simple and easy to fix, and, you know, requires little cooking. You know, because all that, you know, your spaghetti, let's just boil it. Maybe heat up the sauce a little bit. The rice, you're boiling the rice, pouring in everything else. Simple meals, easy. Make 7 of those and expand out. And then go from there, you know, and then up from there. But to start out, that's a good starting point. Kind of working on that, a little of that myself. And, you know, if you want a veggie to go along. And then once you get to that meal, then you can start adding to it. Well, then we can add a veggie to it. Then we can have, you know, chicken rice with corn on the side, or spaghetti and meat sauce with a side of green beans, or whatever. You know, you pick, you do you. But once you get to that baseline, then you can start kind of adding to it. We can add a vegetable, and then we can add a fruit, and then you can add whatever. And then you can start adding more to it from there. But get that baseline, what you need for the meal: spaghetti, meat sauce, rice, chicken, canned chicken, cream of chicken. Boom. And then from there, you know, you can do a soup. You can do, you know, you do whatever it is you eat. And 52 meals, make them simple, and then kind of expand from there. You know, food in buckets, food in, you know, your pantries, all that stuff. You know, work on stuff like that that's non-perishable, something that doesn't necessarily have to go in a freezer. Because if power goes out, if you wake up tomorrow and power's out for basically for good, you're obviously going to go for your freezer first, eat all that, or your fridge first, eat all that up, eat it, so it don't go bad. And then go for your freezer, because your freezer food will eventually thaw out and go bad. And then you start working on your dry pantry, and and then you start working on stuff like that. But the frozen food, you know, you can stock up on some of the frozen foods for, you know, but your frozen stuff's only going to last you a few days or a week after the balloon goes up, or after the poo hits the little spinny thing. You know, it's going to be, you know. And then when you're talking about bugging out, you know, if we want to go bug out food, you know, that's a lot different, because that's what you're carrying with you. So you obviously can't carry a year's worth of food on your back, you know, if you're bugging out. So you've got to have, you know, your backpack food. You know, you've got, I just so happen to have one of these sitting here, but a Cliff Bar. You know, Cliff Bars are good. They last a long time. Granola bars. Another really good one is peanut butter. You know, throw a jar of peanut butter in your bug out bag. They've also got the Mountain House, or the Ready Wise, or the Four Patriots. I don't know what's the best one. Whatever one I say is going to be garbage to some of y'all, but pick one. Pick which one you like. And, you know, MREs, field stripped MREs and stuff like that. You know, there's stuff that, you know, but again, you know, a military age male needs about 32 calories a day. So you got to think about how long your trip is. You've got to plan, you know, it kind of depends on your plan. And that's even bugging in, you know, bugging in's a little easier, because you've got your food, you've got your calories, you can eat it up. But once it's time to go, how long's your day going to be? How long's your trip? How long are you walking for to get to your bug out location? You're just going to bug off to the wilderness somewhere and try and survive? Or do you have an actual location? Because at that location, you should have some of your food supplies. You know, keep half of it at your house, keep half of it at your bug out location, and maybe strategically place some along the way at, you know, on some waypoints or spider points or whatever. But it's just things like that, trail mix, you know, stuff that, you know, will keep for a while. Throw those in your bug out bag. But you've got to also plan on, like I said, how long your trip is. If your trip's 2 days, you need to try and come up with, throw some 60,000 or 6,000 calories in that bug out bag somewhere, regardless of like one of these Cliff Bars. The calories are in one of these Cliff Bars. Didn't say. I'm sure it'll say somewhere on there, but it's a protein bar. You got 20 grams of protein, which helps, you know, protein. But I don't really see where it says how many calories it has. But things like that, you know, and your bug out bag is, you know, you got to figure out water and food, and that's going to take up a lot of your weight. Everything else has to be pretty much lightweight. You don't have time for gear, for gadgets, for gidgets, for gizmos, whatever. Food and water, and just the bare necessities to survive. But food's a big one, you know. And you've got to have a good plan on food. You know, you've got water and food. You've got to have a good plan to store it. Figure out what works best for you. Told you what works best for me. Buy a couple extra cans of something every time I go to the store. You know, we try not to eat a lot of the canned veggies and canned stuff, but we still buy it to kind of put it back, because if those times ever come where power goes out and our freezer goes out, those frozen veggies are going to go bad. And then what? We have to resort to the corn. Yeah, we may not like it, but we can, you know, we can. Canned green beans, canned chicken, canned tuna, canned... Sorry about that. It's really early in the morning. But anyway, you can tell I'm getting tired. But anyway, calories. Very important. And very overlooked by a lot of, especially some of the newer preppers, some of the ones that are just getting started, and some of the just the cool guy preppers that are just doing it for the fun, just calling themselves preppers because they like guns and ammo, and how much ammo should I stock, and how much guns should I have, and what's the best knife, and you know, that's important stuff, but it's not as important as food. Food and water are the number one things, and they're the hardest to store, and they're the hardest to prep, and they're the hardest to carry in a bug out situation. They're the hardest to deal with, but they're also the most important. Some of the other ones are easy, you know, but those are the hardest. Those are definitely by far the two hardest to get, because food's not cheap anymore. It's gone way up in price. That's why I said start slow. Start with an extra can of something. Couple extra cans a week, or grocery shopping. Just add a couple. Stick it in your pantry. Next time, get a couple more. Next time, get a couple more. And the next time, get a couple more. And then soon you got a good supply of it. And that's the thing, is it starts slow. You know, if you get a nice little bonus check or something, and you can go out and buy some extra stuff, then buy a few extra stuff. It's a good habit to get into. But anyway, that's the video. That's where I'm at. I know some of you all have better ideas, and I know I'm gonna get chewed out for, you know, by some of you cool guys that are obviously better than me and further along than me, but there are some of you that, you know, I am still new to this. If you got some ideas, help me, help the community, help us all out. That, you know, what else you got? What else you recommend? But that's so far kind of how I've been doing it. Like I said, if you got better ideas, let me know. If I'm doing something that maybe hey, I never thought about that. That's a cool idea. Let me know. Awesome. Comment. Anyway, that's the video. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I do. Hit that subscribe button. Like, subscribe, comment, share, do the YouTube stuff. Super thanks if you're feeling up to it. If not, no worries, no pressure. I still love you. Just hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you. Again, love you, and I'll see you in the next one.